Today, we dive into the history of a band with 10 multi-platinum albums, more than 15 top 30 hits, and more than 80 million album sales. 80 million. That's a huge number. The band is Foreigner, and there's no doubting their legacy. With rocking up-tempo numbers and massive power ballads, they swept the charts from their first release and continue to draw a huge crowd today. As always, please like and subscribe and drop a comment below. I love this chance to share these songs with you and these great artists. Thank you to each and every one of you who takes the time to watch, like and comment. And thank you to you for checking out this video. I remember as a teenager hearing one of their latest hits for the very first time, Say You Will, and immediately loving the fine balance between melodic songwriting, heartfelt vocals and brilliant musicianship. I soon grabbed a copy of their first greatest hits release and played it till the tape wore out. Yeah, the tape. The old school cassette. I was a teenager, couldn't afford anything else. But then I had a chance to delve into their back catalogue, and it was like a discovery of a hit-making machine, one that spanned not only years, but entire decades. So let's wave the British and the US flags as we get into this episode of Should Have Been on the Album. Foreigner was formed in 1976. It was founded by guitarist Mick Jones with a vision to combine blues and R&B with British rock and make it sound soulful and authentic. He brought in co-Brit musicians Ian MacDonald and Dennis Elliott on drums, along with New York musicians Al Greenwood on keyboards and Ed Gagliardi on bass. Jones asked Lou Gramm, who he had met previously when Gramm was in a band called Black Sheep, to join Foreigner, but Gramm declined. That was until his own band members encouraged him to join. And the rest, as they say, is history. Rock history. Their self-titled debut album Foreigner, launched in 1977, marked their arrival with hits like Feels Like the First Time and Cold as Ice. The following year saw the release of Double Vision, which escalated their fame further with classics like the title track Blue Morning Blue Day and Hot Blooded. However, internal pressures and creative differences began to emerge during this time, with bassist Gagliardi being fired and replaced by Rick Wills. Their 1979 Head Games release reflected both their musical prowess and internal struggles, but also demonstrated a grittier and tougher sound. Lineup changes followed, with Greenwood and MacDonald leaving the band to, according to Jones, focus more on songwriting, and the sextet were paired back to the quartet of Jones, Gramm, Elliott and Wills. Despite these changes and challenges, the band surged forward and in 1981 released Four, a commercial triumph housing monumental tracks like Urgent, Jukebox Hero and the timeless ballad Waiting for a Girl Like You. Into the 1980s, they continued to navigate the changing musical landscape, releasing Agent Provocateur in 1984. The hit I Want to Know What Love Is became one of the biggest MTV and radio hits of the year. After a massive world tour, Gramm and Jones explored various non-Foreigner focused endeavours, but regrouped in 1987 for Inside Information, which spawned the top 10 hit, Say You Will. Yet tensions persisted, leading to Graham's departure in May 1990. The band continued on, however, with a new lead singer, Johnny Edwards, releasing Unusual Heat in 1991, but the album failed to reach the highs of their previous releases. Further lineup changes followed before Gramm rejoined the band in 1992. Mr. Moonlight was released in late 94, but it fared worse than Unusual Heat. In 1997, Gramm had surgery to remove a brain tumour, and while his recovery was difficult, he was well enough to join the band with Journey for a summer tour. Stepping into the 21st century, there have been many lineup changes. There have been various compilation albums released, as well as a smattering of new material, such as 2009's Can't Slow Down. Here in 2023, Foreigner are on their farewell tour with Mick Jones as their only original member, yet they're playing to packed houses and sold out shows. But for today's episode, we're going to head back, way back, to 1979 and discover a little track that wasn't included on their Head Games album. The name of the track? Zalia. Zalia? Zalia.
You like tomato and I like tomato.
Zalia. Zalia was written by Ian MacDonald and Lou Gramm during the sessions for Head Games sometime in 1979. Some sources say that it was produced by MacDonald, while others suggest it was the producer of Head Games, Roy Thomas Baker. On Ultimate Classic Rock, Mick Jones says that Zalia was a beautiful song, a very different sounding song than what we'd done at that point. So it's clear that there was some affection for the song, particularly from Jones. The lyrics to Zalia are quite simple, with the singer trying to reach out to her. However, there's the realization that he has missed the chance with her. Still, it's hard to let go of a lost love. It's all a song about unrequited love, and no matter how hard I searched, I couldn't find who this Zalia might have been. Oh well. Musically, it doesn't have the grittier tones of the rest of Head Games. It's a ballad for sure, but there's a sense of yearning and desire that comes from that musical territory. The song opens with a keyboard motif, and we quickly move into the emotive singing of Lou Gramm. But what makes the song interesting is its style and chord structure. There's a sense that the musicality is harking back to their first album, and I can almost hear echoes of Star Rider. Again, Jones said that it's just one of those things that added a little different dimension, and we always sort of sought to do that, definitely throughout those first 4 albums. Further, the song doesn't really stick around for too long either. But does it need more? Probably not. It makes its point and then moves on, and that is completely fine. So did Zalia deserve a spot on Head Games? There's definitely some love out there for this lost track. A quick look on YouTube confirms this with comments like, beautiful track, mesmerising, and takes me away from it all. One great comment is on poprockbands.com, where Andre Grindle says that the song is a fine number, a beautifully arranged ballad with some inspired instrumental turns. And I'd have to agree. Further, its inclusion on re-releases and expanded editions shows that it was definitely in the mix to be on the album, although, on one side at least, Zalia is named as an outtake. Personally, I'd have to say a yes to Zalia being on Head Games. While I understand that the band was going for more of a rock-based approach, Zalia would have been a great way to break up the album a bit. And let's be honest, almost every hard rock hair metal band in the 80s used the ballad ploy in their albums to help sell more copies and draw in the fans. So where would it go and what would it replace? After listening through the album several times, it comes down to 2 choices for me, and I know at least one of these will be disputed. That's okay. But for me, it's either 17 on side 1 or Do What You Like on side 2 that have to go. 17 doesn't really seem to go anywhere other than a path well worn by many other bands. And Do What You Like is a bit meh. The acoustic feel of it is a nice change, but it's definitely not the strongest song on the album. For me, I'm getting rid of 17 and putting Zalia in its place. It would add a nice ballad to the mix and allow the album to breathe a little. Yes, I know that Blinded by Science is a slower tempo too, but it's not a ballad, more of an exploration into prog rock territory. Zalia would allow flipping over the record to Head Games to have more impact, while showing the softer side of the band, especially in an album that is more aggressive than its predecessors. I definitely like Zalia, even though it's short, but its brevity isn't out of place on the album. There are a couple of other tracks that are on the short side too, Love on the Telephone for example. So Zalia fits, and I think it fits well. Foreigner have a few other rare tracks tucked away in their back catalogue, including Street Thunder, the marathon theme for the 1984 Olympic Games, a demo from their first album called Take Me to Your Leader, and another live track called Love Maker from the Double Vision era. But for me, the best of them all is Zalia. So what do you think? Did Zalia deserve a spot on Head Games? As always, drop a comment below and let me know what you think. And if you have an idea for a rare track or a B-side that you think I should check out, that's the spot to put it as well. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this episode. My name is Drew, and you've been watching Should Have Been on the Album. See you next time. Cheers.